Stay with me as we talk about how to deal with all the other people who are unaffected or even the naysayers of the Mandela Effect. If you're here, you already know what the Mandela Effect is, obviously, because we're here to talk about it. And I'm going to share with you some ideas and techniques that will hopefully make your life a little better. If you don't know what the Mandela Effect is, I will put a little link up right there. You'll see a little eye icon appearing, and it'll take you to a story about what it is. So let's dive into this. First of all, you wake up to this effect, and it's pretty shocking that most people have a rational mind and a logical mind, and you have to sit there and argue with yourself, is this real or not? Am I crazy? Is this going on? And what happens is, well, my personal stories, I just got worn down. The first 5 or 10 effects I saw, I just kind of logically explained away. And then after about 15 to 20, I was like, okay, how is my memory bad that all 20 of these things are something else? And then now it's like a list of almost 200 things that have changed that people have documented. And there's just no explaining away that. You lose a point where you can't rationally explain 200 changes and major changes in some, like continents moving and bodies changing, that things that just sound crazy and don't make sense. So eventually your other mind takes over, which is your faith mind of, okay, something's happened, my reality has changed, and I have to accept this. And once you do that, it's actually very liberating, and I'm in a much happier, better place once I got through that lock. Because, when you're arguing in your mind, is this real, is this not? It's a very hard place to live. It'll make you feel crazy. Once I accepted this is happening, it's actually been very liberating. That being said, I think you have to understand how to deal with the people around you. And a lot of it is patience and tolerance. You have to put yourself in their shoes. Imagine somebody that you love wakes up and is just sounding like a crazy person. And I get that, because if I listen to myself, I sound like a crazy person. I understand. But it's so real. Like, even if these are fake memories implanted or whatever your theory is on this, it's very real to me. It's just as real as a spiritual or a religious experience. I get what people are saying, and I know that's kind of a hard comparison for some of you, but I want you to hear me out, is when somebody has a religious grace on them, they find Jesus, Allah, Buddha, whatever their flavor, it gives you an inner peace inside that you feel better, and it's impossible to logically explain to someone. You see, if you take this route where you're trying to beat them over the head with things have changed and here's the proof, here's the proof, here's the proof, they're always going to explain away the proof. Skeptics, the internet skeptics, these guys, I know you've seen them, they have a new 50-cent word, confabulation, and you'll hear this all the time, which basically means that all of us have a shared fake memory. They just use it to explain away everything, and frankly, I find it insulting when people drop that word on me. And it depends on how they deliver it. If they're truly trying to help and be like, well, rationally, this can't happen, all you have bad memories. If they're polite about it, I get it. But what I'm seeing is mainly it's just trolls on the internet that just throw it out there and tell you you're an idiot. Now, the problem is you're never going to get anywhere dealing with a troll. In fact, you'll notice on my channel, as soon as someone gets really negative, I just ban them and throw them out. I tolerate no trolls, zero troll tolerance. It's fine if you want to disagree and you're respectful and ask questions. I'll leave it all day long. But if you just come in here and you're like, you're an idiot, I'm going to just ban you and block you from my channel. So you will see people just kind of disappearing in the comments sometimes. I want this to be a nice, rational, polite discussion. I honestly don't understand the mind of internet trolls. I don't. Let's get back to the topic at hand here. How do you deal with your loved ones and friends that aren't feeling the Mandela effect? There's two ways, really. The first way, I think, is honestly to speak from the heart. You're still friends with these people. They're your loved ones. If you say, look, if I were in your shoes, I would think I was crazy too. You have to relate to them. Don't just sit there and go, you're crazy, you don't believe this, I can't believe you don't remember, and argue. Arguing is never going to get you anywhere. You have to empathize. I know I sound crazy. Believe me, it's upsetting to me. But here's all these changes I remember and I don't know why. And I would seem crazy if it wasn't for thousands of other people having these same memories. So something big has happened. And eventually, you can find something that they might remember. I feel like a lot of us are waking up, that they just don't remember yet. And you can send them video after video after video, and if you keep a good relationship, they'll actually watch it, maybe comment and say, okay, I see why you think this way. You can try that, but what you're looking for is the one thing that really jolts them. So you might send them a video, I don't know, about the changes in the Bible, and then they see a couple verses they know really well that have changed, and they're going to go, well, maybe something is going on here. I've seen this in comments and chats and emails on Facebook where someone will be like, I don't believe what you're talking about. And then you start giving them videos. And then after, a day, they've been like, I've been watching videos nonstop. I'm with you now. I know something's changed. You got to understand the logical mind is not going to accept this. That these people are going to put up a wall, and no matter what evidence you give them, they're going to explain it away. They can't allow something of faith like this to happen. And again, I keep going back to, it's like arguing with someone about religion. How am I going to tell someone who's found Jesus that they didn't find Jesus? They feel it. They have a sense in their heart. They know down in their soul that this is real. And I'm going to argue with you that you don't feel that? And I kind of take it the same way. I'm done sitting here trying to find logical proof and trying to convince people to believe me. I'm over that. What I'm going to do is just keep talking about the experience with myself, and hopefully they listen. You can't convince people. They have to find the truth on their own. And all I can do is kind of offer a direction to go and let them do their own searching. At this point in my life, I'm too old to sit here and try to convince people and waste my precious energy bringing someone just a little closer towards us and a little closer. I'm done with that. I'm going for the low-hanging fruit. In other words, it'd be like we all live in an apartment building and it's on fire. And I only have so much time to get out. I knock on the door and I'm like, hey, there's a fire. And the first guy's, okay, fire, let me get out. I knock on the second door. The second guy goes, no, there's no fire. Show me proof there's fire. Well, I'm not going to sit there and argue with this guy if there's a fire or not. I'm just going to say, okay, stay in your room. I'm going to go to the third door and knock. Hey, there's a fire. And the next person will say, okay. Don't waste all your time on these people, even if I know it's really hard because they're so important in your life. They're like, your family or friends or someone that is probably going to disconnect from you because of this. And that's really tough. But it's a lot simpler if you're kind of like me at this point in your life, where just stop fighting and arguing and just find some people to believe you already. It's way easier and you'll be a lot happier. So that's kind of the first thing I'm going to really put out there, is just have patience with your loved ones and kind of give them a little information. It takes time. And sadly, some of them will never allow their minds to accept anything like this. And you just deal with it. I mean, life is about changes sometimes. There's, as a liberty activist, I've gone through this my whole life. Most of my friends that I met through the years won't talk to me because my views are too radical for them. It makes them feel uncomfortable if we talk online. So when I do interact with them, I just don't bring that stuff up. honestly, I just avoid it. And you have to get to a realization that friends change throughout your life. That you will lose your old friends and get a bunch of cool new ones, though, that do believe you and do feel this and have a lot in common. And that's where the internet's awesome. You can find people who believe you and are going through it and will discuss with you. I saw some comments about how someone's spouse didn't go through it, but they did. So their spouse doesn't believe them, and that their friends don't believe them. And the only people that they can actually talk to about this are online. And if that's the way it is, then that's the way it is. You have to deal with that and realize that, life changes. And sometimes you're not with the right person, or sometimes you're not with the right group of friends. So I know that's a hard thing to deal with, that sometimes you just have to have a reshuffling of friends and get new friends. And the cool thing is there's lots of great communities out there. And you can even meet friends in my comments below. You guys can talk to each other. The next big thing is how to actually deal with trolls and deal with naysayers that are actively telling you you're an idiot. And the way to deal with that, it really depends on your tolerance level. There was a time where I used to troll trolls, and it was a lot of fun. Like, you would... they put all this energy and effort into writing this huge paragraph, and then you would just ask them like one sentence question and let them put a bunch of energy into writing another big paragraph, and you just string them along to see how much energy they'd waste doing that, because they're not going to change my mind. I mean, telling me I'm an idiot and I don't know as much as you and that the whole thing's fake memories, that's not going to change my mind. I'm sorry. Again, one thing I'm trying to hammer through to you is stop trying to argue logic. This isn't a logical thing. I know everybody's searching for evidence around the internet to prove it so they can say, look, I'm not crazy. There's all this residual proof. And that stuff's cool, but they're always going to be able to explain it away. You have to treat this more like a religious experience where you know what you know, and if they want to argue with you, they're arguing with you about your feelings and memories, which they can't win that argument. I mean, you can't tell me how I feel. So you'll be a lot happier if you take that route. I don't engage them. Like I said, it's just not worth my time and effort. Trolls feed on that kind of energy, so just don't take the bait. The other group of people that, of course, come around are the self-appointed skeptics, where they're always the smartest person in the room, that nobody's as smart as they are. And they usually quote some other skeptic as their source that you're crazy. Again, here's the thing, and this is what you got to realize, and it's hard to say this, but pretty much all studies out there are BS. I can find any scientific study, I can find the counterpoint that says it's wrong, and it's pretty much just as believable. For any good study, you can find another study that says the opposite. And the reason that is because studies are all funded for political reasons. They're never like going to be someone that just spends $1 million without having a study come out the way they want it to come out. And a lot of studies that come out opposite of what you want just get buried. You never hear about them. So you really can't trust scientific studies. I mean, I wish we could. And, I know we quote them all the time, and because it's kind of like the best we got. But there's always some sort of hidden agenda in all those studies. And doing enough research, when I was doing some honors classes and things like that, it's pretty easy to manipulate your findings in those studies if you want. So I just don't put a lot of faith into that. What I actually believe is what I feel is right and what resonates right with me and what I've actually seen in my real life. You see, truth doesn't need to be repeated and beat into your head. In other words, things that are right, don't kill people, don't steal. You kind of instinctually know this. But any sort of message that has to be repeatedly drilled in your head since you're a child, as in, trust the government, you need this, you have to, the government takes care of you, some sort of thing where it's just beating in your head since a child, probably not true. Because the truth, you don't have to keep repeating it until we believe it. So you got to trust yourself and trust your heart and what you feel. And I know that's hard for some super left brain logical people. They just don't think like that. But maybe it's time you try, because you're going to find a lot more inner peace if you trust what you hear and say, does that feel right? Instead of saying, does that sound right? Does this resonate with me? Do I get it? Does my soul agree with this? That's the way to handle stuff. If you take that little bit of advice from this video, your life will be a lot happier and simpler. Anyway, hang in there. We're a community. We'll get through this together. Leave some tips below if you have some good ways of dealing with these things and you found some solutions. Again, I'm trying to keep all my threads very positive. I'm not really into the doom or gloom, we're all going to die sort of thing. I want to, hey, this is a great awakening, and how can we make it better? So if you're on that wavelength, I'd love to hear from you below. Also, if you are new to my channel and you've never been here before, I don't always talk about the Mandela Effect. I'm a variety channel. I have all kinds of stuff on my channel. I just recently started getting into Mandela videos because they have been so big in my life lately. And I just had to talk about it. So you can search around and look on my channel. There's lots of cool videos. And also, I have private and unlisted videos over at my website.